That sound, that tone, that music, that can only mean one thing. Your boy is back in the attic. It's a Friday morning. I just looked down. This is Philanthropy and Focus, by the way. I just looked down. Shout out to the Inn. I didn't even realize I have a cup here, a coffee cup from the Inn. Shout out to Gene Kelly and the team over the Interfaith Nutritional Network. You know what, gang? That's how you get on the show. Send me a little bit of swag once in a while, and I'll just be drinking out of a cup, and all of a sudden you get a plug right here on Philanthropy and Focus. Love the team out there at the Inn. Come to think of it, Gene Kelly, I don't think you've been on Philanthropy and Focus yet. We got to work that out. I'll send a message later on this afternoon. And if you're listening and you know my friend Gene, say, hey, Tommy D was talking about you this morning. You should go on his show. Every single week, I do a couple of things on the show. The first thing I do is I bring a leader of a nonprofit on the show to tell their story and amplify their message. Those are the two big things. Tell their story and amplify their message. We're in the 110, 111 episodes. I stopped counting at this point because I'm on a mission to continue to do this forever, for my forever, whatever that means. Maybe that's 50 more years. I think it is. And if it is, I don't know, man, maybe that's 2,500 episodes. Maybe it's 5,000 episodes. I don't know. Maybe it's 10,000 episodes. Whatever that syndication thing is, like when you're on a sitcom and you want to be syndicated or something like that. I think you only need 100 episodes. But honest, Jeff, I see 11. Nobody's writing me a big check. I don't know. Jerry Seinfeld, okay, funny. Tommy D, different level stuff is what I'm thinking. That's all that's about. We'll have to talk about that. Agents out there, if you're listening, your boy's looking for the big deal. I'm just kidding. It's not about that. It's about nonprofits. It's about changing the world. It's about making an impact. And if it wasn't for my friend, my colleague, MJ Padone, I don't meet Jeff McQueen. So look, it's all about the connections. When you are the nonprofit sector connector, it's all about bringing people together. It's all about 2 + 2 equals some number, way more than 4. It's exponential. This week, coming up a week from today, I'll be at the Viscardi Center running a panel discussion with 5 leaders of nonprofit organizations. And I'll fire them off real quick. Dr. Chris Rosa from Viscardi, Dr. Larry Grubler from Transitional Services for New York, Melinda Murray-Nyack from the Dom Hart 21 Memorial Foundation, the Allied Foundation. I have Heather Edwards and my friend, all of my friends, but my other friend, Yolanda Rabano Gross from Options for Community Living. Some of these folks you may know already. Jeffrey McQueen. Good morning, sir. Jeff, what's up? How are you, sir?
Good morning. Good morning, Tommy D. Good to see you.
Good to see you. You
Pleasure
know,
to be on.
It's a pleasure to have you. It was a pleasure to talk to you earlier this week. And it's funny because we're both here on Nassau County, or in Nassau County here on Long Island. And what's funny to me is we hadn't met each other, but you know what? You know when you're connected with somebody when it comes from an important relationship and a referral source, a connection. But when the first time you jump on a call with somebody and I'm calling you Jeff and you're like, Tommy D, and I go, that's it. That's a brand, that's connection, that's relationship. And I appreciate you. I'm psyched that you're here. I think I dropped some names, so you probably know some of those people. If you don't know any of them, I want you to know them. If you're available next week at Viscardi, 8:30 in the morning, we'll be running this panel discussion, and pretty exciting because I'm bringing a whole bunch of my nonprofit friends there. But let's put that on the side for right now, because the topic at hand is the organization that you lead, Jeff. It's the Mental Health Association of Nassau County, the county where I was born, where I live, where I grew up, the whole thing. I want to talk about you. I want to talk about the organization, the people who listen to this program and plug into this program. They want to know. They want to know the story. They want to know about the impact. They want to know how they can help. And I think specifically in my journey through the nonprofit sector, I thought the nonprofit sector was just like one thing, but there is so many different silos, although that might be the wrong word, but different focus areas, right? Different services that we provide. One of the conversations I'm going to have next week in that panel discussion is I'm going to ask each of the leaders of the organization about the mental health conversation. I'm going to ask them, just last week, a colleague of yours was on the show, David Nimiroff from Harmony Healthcare, right? And I asked him about mental health conversations for his own staff, his employees, and what that looks like, right? So we own an employee benefits agency. So we sell and service group benefits. Vanguard Benefits is the name of our company. And constantly we're in conversations with leaders of businesses and nonprofits. And they're talking about, well, I need to know about mental health services for my employees. I need to know about an EAP, employee assistance programs and things like that. So it's on the top of mind. And you know what? I've been up on this soapbox, and I mentioned Dr. Larry Grubler, Transitional Services for New York. He was the second ever guest on this show, Philanthropy and Focus. And he told me that day, Tommy D, we all need support at different times. And I've heard the statistics, Jeff, that 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 people will have challenges with mental health or with mental illness or mental health challenges in their life. I mean, I know a lot of people, and I feel like, even from my own person, I'll speak for one man. I battle with different demons and different challenges each and every week. And, I think, and I say that, not for anybody's attention or pity or anything, but I just say it because it's real. And I think that's, the actor whose name escapes me right now, it'll come to me now. The quote was, everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Right? Be kind always. Man, if we could just be kind always. Why can I not think of his name? He actually tragically took his own life. Mork and Mindy. So that's a lot of stuff I'm putting out there. But this is a heavy topic, right? Mental health, it's a conversation we need to have. Jeff, I don't want to just put you on the spot, but I'll read a little bit of your background, your experience as a chief executive officer. You've worked in government administration industry, you've worked with the youth, crisis intervention, family therapy. Can you tell me what drew you? I always ask, what drew somebody to this work, to the work of social services work, to the work of nonprofit work? I'd like you to just kind of tell us some of that background, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So, first of all, a pleasure to be on your show. I come from a corporate world, right? I come from corporate America, to be honest. I'm not the social worker, right? This wasn't the field that I chose. I actually believe that the field chose me. I come from corporate America, but as you say, everyone is recovering from something. And so in early ages of my life, I had experienced some trauma, and I dealt with some diagnosis, both with substance use and mental health disorder. And as I became older, I realized that the pathway of my recovery was easily a platform and a conduit for other people's recovery. I wanted to make sure that, it wasn't that I just decided to jump into it. I began to run into people became in my pathway who were dealing with stuff. And I'd be like, you know what? I had the exact same thing. And this is what I did, or this is where I went, and this is what I'm doing today. And this is how I'm staying grounded. And, and I found it effective in the lives of other people. And I heard about some conferences and some places to go. And I started attending, and they was like, man, you should be working over here. And I was like, you know what? I think you're right. Maybe I should be. And so I changed career paths, and I just abruptly said, you know what? Forget this. I'm not going to be a stockbroker no more. I think I'm just going to go ahead and give this thing a shot, and started entry level.
Wow.
I took a position as a housing counselor, believe it or not.
Really? Wow. I mean, listen, isn't that just what we're talking about? Like, I try to say it all the time, isn't that what we're supposed to be doing, is helping each other out? Like, isn't that what this life is? If nothing else, I mean, maybe I will make a little commentary on capitalism. I mean, I think we're convinced as a society, especially in this country, that we need to buy more stuff. We need to have more things. We need to acquire more things in order to feel better. And that's what the commercials do, and the ads and all that sort of stuff. When if we just, we're there more for the people around us, I think we're better off as a society, and if I can impart that to some of the folks listening and just go, we got to check in with people. We got to see where people are at. We have to take care of each other. It's ultimate. And I have a lot of fun when I do this show and stuff like that, but this is serious stuff. We need people are in, you mentioned trauma, and I tell you, I had somebody on this program, and I know the organization does work with veterans, so I'm sure we'll get into that today. But I had a gentleman on the show last summer, because for the month of July, I had all 5 Fridays in July, I featured a nonprofit that works with veterans. And it's interesting because I almost felt like that my struggles were not as important as this man's struggles in what he saw, right? And I didn't know I'd bring this up, Jeff, this morning, but he had said to me, I remember this story. I'll tell this story. I remember this story being on the F train. I used to go to school downtown Manhattan at Baruch, And I remember taking the F train. I drive to 179th Street. And if you don't know what we're talking about at this point, gang, we gotta do a geography lesson. But I would leave Nassau County and drive to Jamaica, Queens, and take the train into the city. And I was just 20, 21 years old, and I was feeling kind of low. And I looked over, and this young person, young girl, just kind of smiled. Maybe she's 6, 7 years old, and it changed my day, which changed my week, which changed the trajectory of maybe a month. And I think that I mentioned that story on that show, and I was just saying, that was something that I've been in different spots in my life, and this man who saw incredibly terrible, tragic things on the battlefield and was wounded, said to me, Tommy D, that's your struggle. That's your story. It ain't, mine ain't any different. Mine ain't any better. Mine's not, it's just, we all have our stuff. And I think, Jeff, it's to me, it's having somebody to say what you just said, like, hey, I was there. I was where you are. Here's what I did. Here's the spots I went to. Here's the places I went to. Here's the programs I got into. Because I don't, Dr. Larry Grubler, you're here today, man, in my mind, but he said we all need support at different times. And isn't that just, I'm sorry, Jeff, but isn't that just like such basic stuff? Like that's what we're supposed to.
I mean, so Tommy, let's just keep it realistic and stay grounded in the natural flow of what human life says for us, right?
Yeah.
I have an emergency situation because I was in love with a girl. She broke up with me, or I found her cheating on me, or whatever the case might be.
Yep.
And I'm feeling some kind of way, like I don't know what to do. The anxiety is probably through the roof. I can't breathe. What do? I call my best friend.
Right.
I call my best friend, man, she dumped me, right? I call my friend. I lean on someone else.
Yeah.
And we know that no man is an island.
Right.
And so, and we grew up with phrases that said, like, it takes a village.
Yeah.
And so if we just keep it realistic and we keep it basic and simple, I don't want to get off into the philosophical stuff of PhDs and social work, and I don't want to take you there. Where I really want to take you is in common human decency and understanding that if every human being in the world were looking at a screen TV and a child was walking across the street and fell, everyone would go,
yeah.
Right? It's just the basic human sense that we have. And so we have to arrive at a place where we're destigmatizing this conversation around substance use disorder and around mental health, and understanding that the trauma people incur is no different than when they stub a toe or break a leg or have a car accident. It's no different.
Yes.
No different. And if we can get to a place where we're talking about mental health crisis and we're talking about substance use disorder, like the broken leg, then more people will be more inclined to come out and say, I just can't get out of bed today. Yeah. And they won't feel any particular way about it other than, I can't get out of bed today.
I literally have chills right now, man. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. The hairs are standing up on the back of my neck because I'm feeling like we're on the precipice of this, Jeff. I really believe when you see, what is her name? The young lady, Simone Biles, when you see these folks come out and step away because they're hurting, man, oh man, this is what, how many times I say, if I fell down the attic stairs, I really hope I don't, but if I fell down the attic stairs later on and break my leg, right? Nobody is going to shame. I might get people might give me a hard time about it. Maybe I will get my chops broken a little bit, but the point of the matter is I'm going to go and get it sorted out. Right. But you know what, if I really believe this, man, but you know what? By no means are we done having this conversation. I don't mean you and I, but I mean generally. We need to continue this. We need to keep putting it in the face. And I say to you, everyone you meet is fighting a battle that you know nothing about. So that's the point of the matter, gang. That's what it is. Everyone's dealing with this. So if I can say that, oh, you know what? This is what everyone deals with. I remember being a kid, and I even heard my wife say this recently with my own children. Like when I was a kid, every so often, maybe once a month or something like that, my mom would let me bang in sick. And it was called a mental health day.
Okay.
It was called that. I'm 12 years old. I'm 14 years old. And she's like, you know what? You probably just need a mental health day. How cool was that? That it was a situation, but I think that's what we all need. And let me tell you, man, I know, like I say, I get some pretty highs and pretty lows sometimes, and I will comment on the substance abuse thing maybe in a second segment. I'll just say it now. If you never listened to this show before, I quit drinking 12 years ago, and I don't say that as a necessary thank you. I don't say that necessarily to say, hey, Tommy D, you're the greatest or whatever. I say that as a point of fact. Is like, we all got our stuff, man, and you know what? That was something I had to put away, and that being said, you know, I work with a coach right now, and she says we got to always be doing the work. We got to be doing the work. You got to be in the work, you know, whatever that is for us to, what I would say, evolve. I didn't know, Jeffrey McQueen, that I would be so fired up and charged and taken already, and just in this first segment. But this is, you talked about just being real, and that's what this is. This is a realistic.
I think, I think that's what it boils down. You know, we can be such complicated people, right? Like the human mind can be so complicated.
Oh yeah.
And it can make something so simple, so huge, right? And I really just think that as a society, we got to keep it simple, and we got to go back to the basics. We got to go back to the basics. We can't get into this place that's separating us. You know, they say 1 in 4.
Yeah.
Experience it. But this is before. Those numbers were before we identified that substance use disorder is also equal to that of a mental illness, right? Or mental trauma. So now that number has increased. It's more than before now.
Yeah, and again,
right? And then let's go through, let's include COVID. Mm-hmm. Let's include the entire world. Listen, this is the first time ever we've experienced the entire world under fire. The entire world, even the World War didn't put the entire world under fire. No
kidding. Yeah, I totally agree. And I hadn't heard it put that way, the entire world under fire. And I just want to make one comment. I usually say this sort of tongue in cheek, but you know, I usually, when I make that comment about 1 in 4, 1 in 5, I usually go, well, in the house where I live, it's 6 for 6, you know, like, so, and I say that kind of cute, but I say it real at the same time. So my point is, like, those numbers are not right. They're not accurate. And I have no clinical background to say that, but I got a radio show, so I could say that if I want to. All right. So we'll come back and we'll talk. And because obviously, you know, there's so much overlap between the substance abuse and the mental health, and you know, it's self-medication because I'm having mental health issues and vice versa, you know. So let's take a quick break. We will be right back. I'm having fun. I'm fired up. You know, Jeff, no big deal, man. We're just changing the world. That's all. We'll be right back. Philanthropy and Focus.
All right.
Are you a business owner? Do you want to be a business owner? Do you work with business owners? Hi, I'm Stephen Fry, your small and medium-sized business, or SMB guy, and I'm the host of the new show, Always Friday. While I love to have fun on my show, we take those Friday feelings of freedom and clarity to discuss popular topics on the minds of SMBs today. Please join me and my various special guests on Friday at 11 a.m. on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays, 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
Are you on edge? Hey, we live in challenging, edgy times, so let's lean in. I'm Sandra Bargman, the host of The Edge of Every Day, which airs each Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc. Tune in live with me and my friends and colleagues as we share stories and perspectives about pushing boundaries and exploring our rough edges. That's The Edge of Every Day on Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC. Uplift, educate, empower.
Nonprofits need connections to move move in good directions. So cut through all the static. Join Tommy in his attic.
No big deal. We're just ending the stigma. That's all. That's all. I just made that song up. I had like 90 seconds. When you have such talent, you could write a song in 90 seconds. I don't even know what I'm saying, Jeff. Just here's the deal, gang. If I broke my leg, I go to the hospital and I get it sorted out. If I'm having mental health challenges, it should be treated the same way. That is a declaration. That is the way we should be doing it. That's the way we need to be doing it. And we are going to fix this as a society because for generations, we've not done this the right way. The website is mhanc.org, Mental Health Association of Nassau County. How you and I never met, Jeff, I don't know. But you know what? Shout out to MJ. I just saw you on the text, MJ. Shout out for making the connection because without the people connecting me, really just a guy in an attic. So let's talk about this. You said entry level. You come into, was it this organization that you went to work with right away or was it somewhere else?
Yeah, so it was actually in Maryland. I started as I went and got a KSAC or what is equivalent to a KSAC. I went and got my LCDC, which is a license in chemical dependency, and became a drug counselor. And I knew that in working with the individuals and in knowing my own history, I was very clear that the worlds were not separate, that substance use disorder was definitely on the same scale as mental health disorder, right? And that's just for lack of a better terms, because I'm getting to the disorder thing. But
let me stop you for 1 sec. For saying that, does that mean that historically they were not treated the same way?
That is definitely the fact. Historically, they were separate worlds. Hence why OASIS and OMH, the state entities, are not one government. They're two separate government offices.
Right.
But now they've been working to look at what it means to merge the two offices because they're treating the same thing.
You're treating the same population, so we should be in collaboration.
We're definitely treating the same population.
Right on. Okay. So you're in Maryland. You get the designation, right?
Yep. So I'm in Maryland. I start working as a drug counselor. Found myself quickly moving through the ranks, getting a chief counselor, director position. And then I decided that I was going to come back to my roots, which is New York City, coming back to New York. And then also I just knew that I needed to be a part of the mental health world. I needed to be engaged in mental health. I knew that the worlds were one of the same. And so I said, let me get over here. So when this thing, for two reasons. One, to help the merger happen, because I needed to make sure that this conversation started everywhere that I was. And two, so that when it did happen, I would be in the right place. So I came to MHA 13 years ago, took a position as a housing counselor, and literally, and Tommy, I kid you not, I literally did nothing special. Every day I showed up to work and was just being Jeff.
Yeah.
Every day. I did nothing special. There were individuals that needed a little more support than others, and I felt that, and so I gave more support where I felt that it was required. The program I was in said that they only needed to be seen once every 30 days. I saw them far more than that. Right? Because I just felt like the support that they needed was greater than me seeing you once a month.
Right.
And lives begin to change.
Well, look, if I
get healthier.
Yeah, people get healthy. If I could interrupt you 1 second, if someone's in a triage type situation, if they're low, if they need support, 30 days, that's a lifetime away, isn't it?
It is.
It sounds like I'm making a judgment, maybe because I am, but but I think again, when housing counselor, that's what so these are folks that were not inpatient. Tell me about for those who don't know, for those who don't have it.
The supported housing model are individuals who are able to who are independent, able to live on their own. They can work a job if they wanted to. They hold their own medications, right? If they're on any meds, they're responsible to go see their treatment team if they have one. And they basically live in a single room occupancy environment where they are able to manage their own things. As a housing counselor, My responsibility was really to just make sure that the house was functioning correctly and meeting with them to see if there were any things I could do to help collaborate, wrap around services. If there was more that you needed that I was able to provide, then I would come and try to help connect those dots for you. But I wasn't there to counsel you. I wasn't there to help you with goal sessions or anything like that. My primary role was to meet with you, make sure that the house was sustainable, and also make sure that you didn't need anything of extra assistance, that I was able to connect for you, right? But as I'm getting there, I'm meeting people with incontinent issues. I'm meeting people who don't understand the illness and may not necessarily want to take the medications. I'm meeting people who aren't sure whether they want to go back to work or not. They're dealing with financial complications and struggles, so they could probably use some help budgeting and learning financial literacy. And so I just took it upon myself to say, well, you know, if it's in my wheelhouse and I know I know how to manage my own money, so surely I can teach you how to manage yours, right? And that's how the whole thing began. I just really began being myself with the community, right?
How much of that do you also play, my word, connector? Like, because it sounds like you're able now, and I know a lot of Yolanda, I see you on Facebook. I don't know what we said that you said yes to. She said yes to something. It might have just been you and me being together. You know, Yolanda,
my girl, man.
So you know each other. So maybe she just sees the two of us on the screen.
Partner in crime.
So that kind of leads me to where I'm going to, is like partners, relationships, referrals, right? Is there so much of that? So Yolanda's organization, if you don't know, gang, that's Options for Community Living. Check it out. I'm going to pull up the website for Options, so I have it in here. OptionsCL.org. Yeah, housing, support services, care coordination, people with mental illness, as well as people living with HIV and AIDS. Yeah. You know, and really, I'm not going to get it on I'll probably get on the soapbox throughout the show because I do. But the thing about the fact that there are people who are homeless on this island, and there are homeless veterans on this island, I mean, we don't have enough hours.
Way to go, Tom.
Yeah, you know, shout out to my buddy Lonnie Sherman, General Needs. You know Lonnie? Yeah. I was with Lonnie. I had my two sons and like my third son, which is like one of my guy's best friends. And I took the three boys out, and we hooked up with Lonnie and the folks at General Needs, packed 260 duffel bags with towels and t-shirts and underwear and socks and toiletries and all this stuff that are going out to veterans at the VA and around Long Island. And gang, I don't tell you that to say great job, Tommy D. I tell you that to say Lonnie's running an organization that is a volunteer organization. What does that mean? It means nobody gets paid. It's a volunteer organization. Check them out, General Needs. But somehow looking at Yolanda's website made me spin all the way back to Lonnie. But so the support, the relationships, the referrals, that's what I was about to get into, is being in that position when you're with these folks kind of on the front lines and dealing with their needs. How much of that work comes to when you had to now find, well, how do I make the connection for, well, the financial services, financial advisory, literacy, sounds like you were taking care of that, but you know, I need literacy services. I need this, I need vocational. Tell me about, we're right at the break, so give me like a minute on, and we're going to come right back to it after the break.
All right, good deal. So I think the main key is desire. So it takes three things to accomplish a goal, Tommy: knowledge, skill, and desire. Right? And so the bottom line is that if I'm working with someone and they need support in any particular area that is not my expertise, I have to be willing to sit down, research it, and find it. But I don't do it alone. I bring my laptop, I sit down and say, let's look. I'm not giving you the fish. I got to teach you how to fish. Let's sit down and look at how we can find the people who could get you what you need, right? And then it becomes the shared decision-making, shared power, where it's like, oh, look, there's like 6 companies that do this. I say, let's make some calls and you decide which one sounds the best to you. We can always say no and go to try another one. And that's how the process begins.
Yeah, but that's empowerment. That's what we're talking about, Jeff, right? That's not let me do this thing for you. Let me show you how to do it. And then, you know, now you understand how to do steps 2, 3, 4, right? So maybe you could pay it forward now that you know that, or at least you can get through 2, 3, 4, call me, and then I'll help you get the rest of the way, right? I mean, that's what we're talking about. That's growth, that's empowerment, that's support. That is time for a break. Jeffrey, McQueen, Tommy D in the attic. We'll be right back.
Are you
passionate about the conversation around racism? Hi, I'm Reverend Dr. TLC, host of the Dismantle Racism Show, which airs every Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern on talkradio.nyc. Join me and my amazing guests as we discuss ways to uncover, dismantle, and eradicate racism. That's Thursdays at 11 o'clock a.m. on talkradio.nyc.
In a post-COVID world, you may have many unanswered questions regarding your health. Are you looking to live a healthier lifestyle? Do you have a desire to learn more about mental health and enhance your quality of life? Or do you just want to participate in self-understanding and awareness? I'm Frank R. Harrison, host of Frank About Health, and each Thursday, I will tackle these questions and work to enlighten you. Tune in every Thursday at 5 p.m. on talkradio.nyc, and I will be frank about health to advocate for all of us.
Hey everybody, it's Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector, coming at you from my attic. Each week here on talkradio.nyc, I host the program Philanthropy and Phocus. Nonprofits impact us each and every day, and it's my focus to help them amplify their message and tell their story. Listen each week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Nonprofits need connections to move in good directions. So cut through all the static. Join Tommy in his attic.
That's Brendan Levy, my uncle Brendan Levy from the Queen's Chamber of Commerce singing, although we wrote the song together, but he's singing it because he thinks he's the singer. I don't know, whatever. One agency, one vision, many goals. That's what it says on the website. And then it tells me, right? And then it says the Mental Health Association of Nassau County is a 501c3 nonprofit membership organization dedicated to improving mental health in our community through advocacy, education, program development, and the delivery of direct services. This is an organization that goes back to 1953. So it's not like no one was, that's not like no one was listening, paying attention to mental health, right? But 1950, so this is your 50th, right? Is that
50th year?
What did I say? 50th? That would have been 2003. Tommy,
don't take no time from us.
No, 70 years, man.
70 years. We're in our 70th year.
That's a big deal, man. That's what an evolution, though. It must have been like an organization 70 years ago. Neither one of us was here to remember that, but I'm saying, so let's talk about deliverables. Like, let's talk about services. So, if I come to the organization and, whether it be, I'm experiencing substance abuse, maybe you could take us down that, you started off, and I wrote this phrase down, being a pathway for others. So can we play off of that pathway, Jeff, as to what it looks like when somebody is connected to the organization and sort of the experience? Obviously, it's going to be different for each person, but maybe a general understanding.
So, first of all, the Mental Health Association is really about making sure that every individual that we encounter, right, regardless of what their backgrounds or traumas or circumstances may look like, we just want to make sure that we are able to support you so that you can live 100% of your best life, whatever that looks like for you. We don't set those goals for you. We have no idea of what recovery can look like for another individual. Those are parameters and ideas and goals that you set for yourself, and we are just simply present with you. That's the goal. We want to be here with you on the journey so that when you fall, if you fall, we help you get back up, dust you off, and encourage you to get back on the path.
Right on. Yeah.
Right. Don't give up. We're here with you. You got this.
Right. But again, not a do it for you model.
No. We believe in 85%. Listen, I have an 85-15 rule. 85% of the work is yours, 15% is ours. Right? That's what I believe in. I believe that the recovery process has to be yours to undertake.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you won't value it. If we do it for you, we hand it to you, you won't have any value to it. You won't appreciate it.
I agree with you. Not only that, though, I also believe that, where's the growth in that, right?
Yeah, you won't maintain it because you don't know.
What do I do? I got to come back. Yeah, do that thing for me again because I don't know how to do it.
I don't know how to do it. How did I get here, right?
Yeah, right.
So, and listen, I want to tell you that in the stages of change, not getting to the stages of change or around the stages of change or connected to the stages of change, in the stages of change is reoccurrence or relapse. So I don't know why we think that when a person has a slip up, a relapse, a reoccurrence, why that means that they're not doing okay. It means that they are within their stages of change.
You know, even with that, there's a level of shame, right? And a level of, you know, disappointment, you know, and, you know, where I just, again, I know a little bit about this addiction stuff. And, you know, I see that we should be saying, hey, let's applaud what you did. You know, you slipped up, whatever, you know, like, just let's make an example. If somebody's, you know, clean and or sober, you know, for some period of time, and something tragic happens, or there's some kind of catalyst that they use again, and then it's like, yeah, but you can get right back on this thing. Let's get back at it. You know what? Because you got two pathways at that point too. This pathway thing is sticking with us, but you got two pathways at that point, right? Get back on the recovery and get it going, and get the support you need and move forward, or start using. You know, or you know, if you fell off and continue, that ain't the way to go, right? So
you give up. You could give up. That is an option.
It's an option, right?
It's an option. It's an option to give up. I think what's really important to identify in that particular point, though, Tommy, is that once you know, you cannot not know.
Yeah. Once you know, you cannot not know. And I'm saying, I'm saying, like I understood it right away. Once you know.
But once you know something, once I give you some information about this pathway, once you've learned that that life could look different for you, once you've experienced that life can be different for you, you can't unknow that.
Right. So I have a new paradigm, right? So like if somebody's in you know, whether it be mental health or substance abuse, and they're in that, and that's all they know, and they think that's all there is, right? You bring the light, you show them this other opportunity. Even if they fall off, they trip up, which we are only human beings, right? So even if we fall and trip, you got this opportunity to go, oh yeah, but I liked it over there. I dig it over there. I want to be back there. So let's get it going. Let's get going.
There's always going to be this thing tugging at you for that.
For that, right.
Because you've had it.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
You've had it. There's always going to be something inside tugging for you for that. Yeah. Now, the separation and the difference is that there's a we component in the recovery process. Don't tackle this alone.
Yeah.
Allow people in your life to support you, guide you, that know the pathway, that know the hole that you're in, that know the way out the hole that you're in, right? And that care enough about you to tell you you're wrong, even if it's going to ruin the relationship, even if it's going to ruin the friendship.
Yeah.
Have people in your corner that will tell you the truth no matter what it means.
Yeah, right? And those are the ones that really care. You know,
those are the ones that really love you. Those are the ones that really love you. You know, but I want to get back into some programs.
Please,
I think it's really important.
Let's do it.
So the Mental Health Association, we have about 32 different programs, and I'm not going to go through all 32. What I will tell you is that entering the Mental Health Association of Nassau County is a lifelong relationship. We marry you. Right? We never want to be rid of you. No matter how well you're doing, no matter where life takes you, we marry you. We always want to know how we can be a further support, right? And we also want to celebrate you, you know? So we have programs that are geared towards individuals who are considered to be high on the level of mental illness, right? What they call severe mental illness. So we have a PROS program that teaches daily living skills and help people how to navigate through the travels of what they're dealing with their addictions and with their mental illness. But these things are important, Tommy, to know that these are all recovery-oriented services, right? So there's a treatment component to PROS, but the treatment component is an acceptance. So here's another line I'm gonna give you.
Yeah.
Here's another line I'm gonna give you. Most people would think that treatment should come first, and then a person can enter this pathway of recovery. The paradigm shift in that is this. Recovery has to be an adopted idea by the individual in recovery. You cannot pour recovery on someone, right? It doesn't work that way. They have to choose to recover. So recovery has to come first, and treatment is one of the options that they can use, one of the tools, one of the pathways that they can choose while on the recovery journey.
So they have to, in my own vernacular, they have to buy in to the recovery as a thing, as a concept, before we make a decision to go make some level of treatment or to acquire treatment, right?
Yeah, because treatment then takes a different meaning.
Right.
Because now it's not you're treating me, you're giving me what I need to continue my recovery. See, treatment can be only for a part-time. Yeah. Treatment is only a portion of the recovery journey. Recovery is for the lifelong.
Right. Do you get into so from an education perspective, I want to go into all these programs. I see them.
You can do that.
But do you get into the schools and do this education on this idea of recovery? Is that one of the services that the organization does?
That is exactly what we do. Yeah. So we try to incorporate the recovery model first so that people understand entering a relationship with us is about your lifelong journey to living your best life as close to 100% as possible. See, when you go to the hospital and you break a leg, the first person that you see, and everyone from that moment, they're working to make that leg operate as close to 100% as possible. That's the goal.
Right.
That's the goal. And any other physical part of your body.
Right.
When you go to the hospital and you're diagnosed with a mental illness, it's to stabilize the illness, not to allow the individual to live as close to 100% as possible. So we have to do the paradigm shift. Okay. We have to begin, in order to break the stigma, we have to begin changing the way we approach it. The approach has to be shifted. We have to stop trying to stabilize individuals who are living with mental health diagnosis and support people into living 100% of their lives as close as possible. Because if we're clear about this and we understand that once you break the leg, you cannot unbreak the leg, that you may be living your life with a limp, then we want you to still be able to live as close to 100% of your life, even with the limp.
So, wow. I mean, talk about a paradigm shift. I'm having my own my brain is seeing this differently, and
smoke coming, Tommy.
Well, yeah, there's always smoke coming here, man. They're going to have to send a fire department to the attic. I'm always thinking, man, Jeff, a lot of stuff. No, again, I don't want to say I'm necessarily in this work. I want to be a part of the change and the whole thing. When I say the work, I mean mental health, but this is a different way of looking at this, even for me, who's up here hooting and hollering about that we need to have this conversation, that way you explain the broken leg versus the mental illness. And I wrote down, I take so many notes, even during the show I'm hosting. We need to stop stabilizing and look at getting this individual, to 100% of function or capacity, or living, as you say, living their best life that's possible for them. There's so much here. We're never going to cover it all today. We'll have to do another thing. You know what? We should just do something live one day and do a whole panel discussion on mental health on Long Island. I just made it up. We'll make that happen. Yolanda, another panel I'm going to ask you to bring on with Jeff and Yolanda and a bunch of other folks. Maybe we'll work that out in the springtime. But when we come back, we got to dive a little more into programs. It'll be the last segment, believe it or not. We dive into programs, and I got to know, Jeff, how do we help? How do we become, whether it be myself, my network, the people I know, Nassau County legislators, whatever, how do we help? So I'll give you about 45 seconds to figure that out before while we take a quick break. It's Tommy D. It's Jeff McQueen, the Organizations of Mental Health Association in Nassau County. We'll be right back. Philanthropy and Focus.
Hey everybody, it's Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector, coming at you from my attic. Each week here on talkradio.nyc, I host the program Philanthropy and Focus. Nonprofits impact us each and every day, and it's my focus to help them amplify their message and tell their story. Listen each week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on talkradio.nyc.
In a post-COVID world, you may have many unanswered questions regarding your health. Are you looking to live a healthier lifestyle? Do you have a desire to learn more about mental health and enhance your quality of life? Or do you just want to participate in self-understanding and awareness? I'm Frank R. Harrison, host of Frank About Health, and each Thursday, I will tackle these questions and work to enlighten you. Tune in every Thursday at 5 p.m. on talkradio.nyc, and I will be frank about health to advocate for all of us.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Nonprofits need connections to move in good directions. So cut through all the static. Join Tommy in his attic.
All right, we're back. And Albert Einstein said, I didn't know I was going to quote him, but it just came to me because of something that Jeff just shared in the last segment. We cannot solve our problems with the same way of thinking with it. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used to create them. We cannot solve the problems we have today by using the same thinking that we did to create them. So we have a mental health crisis and we've approached it the wrong way. And your paradigm discussion that we just did in the last segment, Jeff, really even opened up my eyes to this. And I say even me because I think I know some stuff, but I see things even differently in the last 10 minutes from this conversation. So we need to have a paradigm shift. We're going to talk about that more in another show. We'll do something. Yolanda's in. We're obviously doing a panel discussion. It just happened. She goes, I'm in, whatever, of course. So we'll make that happen. So let's talk about really quick. So 516-489-2322, because I want to, if somebody finds this information and needs the help right now, they should call the office to get connected to the association. Is there another number that they should call, or is that the one?
That's the main line, 516-489-2322. And we are definitely a no wrong door organization. And what that means is that whether we provide the services that you're seeking or need or not, we're going to make sure that we connect you to the right person, right? Or to the right organization. We're not competitive, we're collaborative.
Love it. Oh, I love it, especially in the nonprofit sector, because I think sometimes there's this thing about people getting caught up, like we're competing for the same dollars. At the end of the day, we're trying to help people, right? Like, let's work together.
I think if you're living, and I say this because I know most of the organization's visions and mission statements, and we all kind of sound a little bit the same. We're all kind of just trying to change the world and bring a healthier community, right? And that's a good mission to have, and I'm glad that we all do sound the same. But if you're true to your mission statement, then if you don't provide the best level of services that person needs, that means that you'll definitely be calling another organization, letting them know you have someone that they could help. Right. And that's the bottom line. And so, you know, we have a pros program with a clinic so that we can help individuals with severe mental illness find a pathway of recovery. And for many, it's their first break and they're learning it. We also have, in connection to that, we have a family support group so that we can teach parents to understand what their children are going through and best ways to support the child. And sometimes these children are 45, 50 years old.
Really? Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And they've never experienced any sort of.
They've never experienced it, had a very successful life, and suddenly trauma takes hold.
Yeah, no kidding.
Right.
Yeah. We're going to run out of time, and I want to make sure we hit on a couple of things before we run out of time. So we got about 5-6 minutes, but I want to talk to me about the vets, you know, veterans. You got Vet to Vet and the Veterans Health Alliance of Long Island. But talk about that and then really tell me, Jeff, what do you need? What does the organization need? Obviously, you're a nonprofit. We all need dollars. But aside from that, what do you need?
I mean, obviously, money is always a key component for a nonprofit organization. But I think more than that, we really need for the community to know that we're here.
Yeah.
Right. The Veterans Health Alliance of Long Island is about 13, 14 years old. It's a conglomerate of 80 different organizations, individuals, learning institutions, and veterans themselves that are trying to make sure that we are a no wrong door, right? That when a veteran touches us, regardless of discharge status, I need to say that, regardless of
discharge status,
we believe that if you served, you earned.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you may not be able to go to the VA, but you can definitely come to us.
I love that. Yeah, that's great. Just so great. I mean, this sounds so obvious, but it ain't, man. It's not.
It's not that obvious.
It's not. It's
but
not
that's
something...
the whole key, Tommy. So you talk about how can people help.
Right.
We need you to know that we're a no wrong door organization. We need you to know that if you don't know where to send someone, call us.
Call us.
Call us.
So right? I'm on your website, and then and that's took me over to the Veterans Health Alliance. So
they have their own page because obviously veterans may not want to be associated with an organization that has mental health on it.
Yeah.
And so we need them to know that the Veterans Health Alliance is not about, and it's the name says it all.
Yeah.
It's about your health.
Your health. Right.
Whatever that looks like.
Yep. So anything upcoming? Are there events? Are there how do you want people to plug in? Tell me about that.
So October 7th. So last year we did our Long Island's first inaugural Gone But Not Forgotten overdose prevention and awareness walk. We'll be having our second walk this year, October 7th. So that's going to be huge. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. We will have a number of events. I can't even begin to name them all. We're doing all kind of art festivals. So please just go to the organization's calendar on the website. As the events begin to unfold, the calendar will fill in, and we welcome you to attend any and all of the events. And I'm just we have a sister organization, the Mental Health Association is an affiliate of 143 different other MHAs. And so we have a sister organization in Suffolk, right? Mental Health Association for Mental Health and Wellness, and they partner with us on this MHA month. And so please just go to our websites. There's also a hashtag, I'm supposed to know these things, right?
I'll text some of the people we're supposed to know. What?
Yeah, there's some hashtags of some things I'm supposed to know, but it's if you hashtag MHANC mental health, you'll find a lot of the other stuff. You go to our Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter. We're working on our TikTok. You're getting ready to start seeing some staff live and in action during their days, having fun. And
I love that. See, that's so good, man. That's so good. Human. Yeah, we should set it up where, I want to come out on site, do a visit, we'll do some videos and whatnot while I'm in the offices.
That'd be awesome, Tommy.
I'm in, man. We'll just do it because it's fun to me and it's good.
Yeah, just do it, man. And you know what, Tommy? I'm so grounded and down to earth that you don't even have to plan it. Just come.
Just pop in. That's sort of how my days work sometimes anyhow, man. You know what? I'll tell you something. We talked about I told you I shared a bit about my own stuff, ups and downs and whatnot. And I'll tell you, man, there's some times when I'm feeling low and to go out and do some service work, I feel much better, man. It's so interesting. I do all these days of service and to me, it's funny because it's a selfless act, right? Going out and doing this work and serving people. But I got to tell you the truth. Don't tell anybody. Nobody's listening right now, Jeff. But there's a bit of selfishness because I feel good, because it makes me feel good. And I mean, I remember there's a pantry here in my neighborhood where I live. And this Monday I wasn't feeling so great. So I went and I bought a couple boxes of Joe from Dunkin' Donuts. Shout out to Dunkin'. Shout out Dunkin'. Anytime you want to be a sponsor, Tommy D runs on Dunkin'. But so you know what I'm talking about. There's an orange straw. So I just brought a couple boxes of Joe and some munchkins to all the volunteers, and I felt better because they felt better, and we all smiled, and they're doing great work. And I always, I find myself whenever I'm at an event and there's people, a nonprofit event, and there's people volunteering, I'm always like, hey man, thanks for volunteering. I appreciate it. And they're like, who is this guy? He's just a guy, he's just attending the event. But I'm appreciative of that because I know what it means. You're taking time away from your family, you're taking time away from your business, whatever else you could be doing, and doing that work. So that's, who's that? Is that a dog?
That's Charlie.
What's up, Charlie? How you doing? What's going on?
Talking. So he was like, oh, you must be talking to me.
Oh my God, that's funny. He didn't know I was here. What's up, Charlie the dog? Do you bring the dog to the office and stuff like that? Because we know how
we do actually have dogs in the office. There are staff that are allowed to bring their dogs. We have also, I'm gonna give a quick shout out to Stephen Rose, one of our veterans, has a service dog that he brings to do groups in pros and in some of the other programs.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think it's great.
Believe in therapeutic animals.
I'm doing a new show, not a new show, but I do another show called the Professionals and Animal Lovers Show. And, each week we feature animals and animal advocacy. So I've been making a lot of friends. Contour Mortgage, they got a dog that they're working with. It's going to go to a veteran. They're raising the dog right now. So just special stuff. Beth Zimmerman, I don't know if you know Beth Zimmerman from Pets for Patriots.
Pets for Patriots,
yeah. She's going to be on Philanthropy and Focus in a couple weeks.
Nice.
So this is what a team is all about. Because check out these hashtags that I got from MJ. All right, hashtag Mental Health Associations of Nassau County. Hashtag MHANC. You hit that one, Jeff. You got that one.
I got one of them.
You got one. Hashtag destigmatize mental health. I like that one. Hashtag destigmatize mental health. Hashtag Jeff McQueen. I want a Tommy D hashtag. What about hashtag the kid Tommy D in the attic?
Tommy D. You're gonna make sure that's a hashtag.
We got to hashtag that.
Hashtag that.
Whoever makes the hashtags, make one for me. And hashtag mental health awareness. We'll share those on Facebook. Shout out to all the folks checking in on Facebook and watching this. Jeff, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you being a friend of mine because I feel like we're there now. I want to just pop through, through. I want to check out this stuff. I want to look. I know some people. Let me know how we can be of service. Let me know how we can help. I think the biggest thing, like we talked about, is just to continue getting the word out. I think no nonprofit wants to be the best kept secret. And I find like many of my nonprofit friends go, "Oh, we're like the best kept secret." I go, nobody wants to be a secret.
Nobody wants to be a secret.
That's it. Nobody wants to. We got to get.
I think that's how people can help more than obviously money. Volunteer. We have volunteer opportunities. Come on down. There's always something for someone to do. But I think more than anything, it's about opening your mouth, getting the word out, and letting people know that the community does care and that we are here for you. Right. Our tagline is "Our help knows no season."
Our help knows no season. Our help knows no season. I love that. I love everything we talked about today. Jeff, I'm appreciative of you. I'm appreciative that, all due respect to Wall Street, you know what? We don't need more stockbrokers. We need more people. We need more people changing the world. We need more people making an impact. We need more people at the helm of organizations like yours. I'm so appreciative of you. I got to send some shout outs. Mick Collins always checking in. The guy's name is Robin Williams, everybody. I could not think of Robin.
Oh my God.
It's Robin Williams. Everyone is fighting about you know nothing about. Be kind always. I couldn't think of Robin Williams' name. I do that quote like
Mork.
Yeah, Mork, right? I love that. Patch Adams, he was Goodwill Hunting, the whole thing. All right, I'm going over. Steve Fry show comes up, but I do have to send out MJ. If I haven't said your name enough, love you. Appreciate you. Thanks for making this connection. Yolanda, always in my corner. Appreciate you. Mick Collins, always putting the stuff out there on Facebook as I need. Jeff, make it a great day. I will see you soon in person. Everybody else, make it a great day. See you later.
Have an intentional day.